What is up? What's up? It's iCkEDMeL. Welcome back. Last minute live stream, like everything else in my life. Last minute. A couple of things that came out today. We're going to talk a little bit about Gabby, the FBI stuff that came out, the statement, the timeline they released. Make sure we're streaming good. And we're going to take a look at also Nancy Grace. She kind of went off. I think Nancy's video came out today. Couple of interesting things. So I guess yesterday, Gabby Petito's parents, they met with FBI in Tampa. A lot of people already know about this, and supposedly it was like the secret meeting, and they were talking about the agreement between the property between Gabby and Brian. And so now the FBI has put out a statement and also a timeline. Something that I thought was kind of interesting to share. I don't know what's going on here, bro. I got this whole double pimple thing. I don't know what happened, bro. What's going on with my life right now? I don't know. So I know they're gonna call it out. So they'll probably be like, "We didn't even notice iCkEDMeL until you pointed it out. Now we're gonna call it out." Amazing. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just giving it like a minute to kind of warm up. Appreciate you guys coming through. I've been like all over the place, like in my personal life, trying to catch up with YouTube. So I'm kind of behind on some of the stuff that's been going on, man. Care, hey Care, thank you for the super chat. Hope you've been good, Mel. Thanks. I've been good. Been taking care of myself health wise. Trying to do good. One of the things that I wanted to show you first, if I can find it. I'll lose it. Okay, so as far as the notebook thing, it says here, this was Brian Enton, one of the legends. It says the FBI says a review of the notebook revealed written statements by Brian Laundrie claiming responsibility for Gabby Petito's death. So supposedly he wrote in this book, he was writing notes and stuff, and he had took responsibility for Gabby's death. A statement released from Stephen Bertolino, the Laundrie family attorney. It says here, Gabby and Brian are no longer with their families, and this tragedy has caused enormous emotional pain and suffering to all whom loved either or both of them. We can hope that with today's closure of the case, each family can begin to heal and move forward and find peace in and with the memories of their children. May Gabby and Brian both rest in peace. Don't mind me flying all over the place. Let's see here. So let me read you this official statement, which I'm sure the people that have been following this probably have read this. So somebody said, "You're not behind, the FBI is behind." I guess that's kind of true, huh? All logical investigative steps have been concluded in this case. The investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito. The FBI's primary focus throughout the entire investigation was to bring justice to Gabby and her family. The public's role in helping us in this endeavor was invaluable as the investigation was covered in the media around the world. On behalf of the FBI, I want to express my deepest appreciation to the public for the thousands of tips that were provided during the investigation, and to our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners for their work throughout the investigation. Was my voice there? So that was one of the official things that was posted, and then we're going to get into this here in a second, which is like, I guess, the FBI's timeline, right? Maybe their official timeline here. I wanted to pre-read this, but I didn't have any time. I have no choice. So we'll just kind of read it together. Bear with me. And then we're going to watch Nancy Grace, because I didn't even watch the full clip. I watched a couple of seconds. I was like, oh, we're watching this. Yep. All right. So this was posted today. Okay, FBI Denver provides final investigative update on Gabrielle Petito case. A little closer. There we go. Yesterday, the family of Gabrielle Petito met with the FBI at the Tampa field office as the investigation will be closed in the near future. We just read this. We're not going to read that again. We just read this top portion here. The FBI opened its investigation into the disappearance of Ms. Petito on September 12, 2021, upon receiving reports from Gabby's family that Ms. Petito was missing. The FBI was working with federal, state, and local officials, organized a search of a remote area within the Grand Teton. Remember that whole thing? Teton. It's Teton, right? They went crazy over that. Grand Teton National Park and the Bridger Teton National Forest. On September 19, 2021, the search team located the remains of Miss Petito at the Spread Creek dispersed camping area near where she and Brian Laundrie had been seen together. Miss Petito was found approximately 3 weeks after her last known communication. The Teton County Coroner's Office subsequently concluded Miss Petito died of blunt force injuries to the head and neck with manual strangulation. While law enforcement investigated all logical leads, the investigation quickly focused on the last person believed to see her alive, Mr. Laundrie. And so we're going to get into the FBI's timeline. I'm curious because there's so many great timeline people out there. I forgot the other girl's name, the timeline god. People have some really good timelines out there, so I'm curious to see. I mean, I know it's not going to be that intricate, but I guess they're just sticking probably to the basics. Becky, thank you so much for the members chat. Great end to my weekend. Thanks for jumping on live. No, thank you for coming, man. Thank you guys for coming. Last minute, thank you. Logado Disco. It says the FBI investigation revealed that between August 30th and September 1st, 2021, Mr. Laundrie had used Ms. Petito's debit card without authorization on his drive back to Florida from Wyoming. So we kind of knew that. We knew all that stuff. After Ms. Petito's death, there were several text messages identified between Mr. Laundrie's telephone and Ms. Petito's telephone. The timing and content of these messages are indicative of Mr. Laundrie attempting to deceive law enforcement by giving the impression that Ms. Petito was still alive. Wow. Okay. So maybe he was like texting himself. Maybe he had both phones or whatever, and he's just texting himself, right? I don't know. On September 15, 2021, Mr. Laundrie's Ford Mustang was recovered from the T. Mabry Carlton Reserve and Mayakachi, they're going to get me, Creek Park in Northport, Florida. On September 17, 2021, Mr. Laundrie's parents reported him missing shortly after law enforcement conducted a welfare check at the residence. That was a whole mess. That whole going back and forth, I remember that. And then he somehow slipped out. September 18, 2021, law enforcement officials commenced an extensive search of the park where Mr. Laundrie's vehicle was parked and did not locate Mr. Laundrie. The area where Mr. Laundrie's remains were later found was part of this search area, but the area was submerged due to recent flooding at the time of this initial search. Was that whole flooding thing? That was a whole mess too. You guys remember that? And all the going back and forth and people going out there, out that. I remember that too. Luna, thank you for the message. Thanks for coming live. You always give great info. Thank you. Super last minute, but I got to get something in today. I just want to check in with you guys. Okay. Okay. September 22nd, 2021, the U.S. District Court for the District of Wyoming issued a federal arrest warrant for Mr. Laundrie. The warrant was issued pursuant to a federal grand jury indictment for violation of federal statute, use of unauthorized access devices related to Mr. Laundrie's activities following the death of Ms. Petito. All that stuff we remember. October 7, 2021, after law enforcement made a request through Laundrie family attorney Stephen Bertolino, the Laundries provided personal effects to law enforcement, which were to be used to assist in the search of the creek in the park. Not even going to try that. October 20th, 2021, after water had receded from the area and the park was reopened, Mr. Bertolino notified law enforcement that the Laundrie's parents were intended to return to the park to search Mr. Laundrie. For Mr. Laundrie, law enforcement officers were present when Mr. Laundrie's parents located an item in the park later determined to belong to Brian. That was a whole mess too, and a whole bunch of conspiracies with that too, right? I mean, remember them in the video and they're walking out there like they literally caught him on video when they found it, I think. So that was nuts. And they were saying it was planted, and man, it's taking me back a little bit. Upon further search of the area, investigators found human remains later confirmed to be Mr. Laundrie, along with a backpack, notebook, and a revolver. Okay. A review of the notebook revealed written statements by Mr. Laundrie claiming responsibility for Miss Petito's death. I wonder if they're ever going to release that book. Like, are we going to be able to see everything on there? Or is it just going to be like, whoever it goes back to, they keep it? I think the FBI still has the van. I don't know if I guess they still have the notebook too. Kathy, thank you for the super chat. I've become addicted to your updates. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, man. I'm gonna have more stuff coming. There's a lot of like stuff behind the scenes that I've been working on, like related to YouTube and Facebook, but the stuff is gonna come. So I appreciate the patience and you guys coming through. Okay. On November 23rd, 2021, the District 12 Medical Examiner's Office in Sarasota, Florida, released its report on the manner and cause of death of Mr. Laundrie. The report concluded Mr. Laundrie died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So we're going to take a look at Nancy, but this is a very basic timeline just to kind of take you through. It's not going to be like the other stuff, right, that we've seen online with the sleuths. The sleuths. I want to check out Nancy on Gabby and Brian.
The search for answers. Well, the investigation into Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's roadside stop.
Chili says, what happened to him being hidden in a secret underground bunker in his parents' garden? Anyone remember that? Bruh.
Moab, Utah, which took place days before Gabby's death and a time before Brian's suicide, is now revealing the Utah police officers' quote unintentional mistakes. The probe finding the officers did not contact the 911 caller who reported the fight, didn't photograph or mention Petito's injuries, didn't connect the couple with mental health professionals, contact the officers' quote unintentional police officers' quote unintentional mistakes. The probe finding the officers did not contact the 911 caller who reported the fight, didn't photograph or mention Petito's injuries, didn't connect the couple with mental health professionals, and did not arrest Gabby Petito. Fox Nation host Nancy Grace has been on the case since the beginning. She joins us right now. Nancy, good morning to you. It looks like the biggest problem right there was that they did not arrest Gabby.
I see what? Whoa. Did you just say the biggest problem is they didn't arrest Gabby?
More volume here.
The 100-pound,
right, according
5'3" girl.
Right, exactly. According to their findings.
There you go. There you go. I see the biggest problem right now, this minute, is that we are still denying what happened to Gabby. And this is bringing back.
So there was like this 100-page report that came out the other day from Moab Police Department or whoever, and I didn't get to read it. It's really long. There's people that have reviewed it and they spoke about it, and so I don't know what the contents are. I just heard that, obviously that there was mistakes that were made and that supposedly there were accidental mistakes. If somebody knows more detailed, I don't know if I'm gonna do calls or not. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
For me, all of the fat lips, the black eyes, the broken bones, the domestic homicides that were glazed over, ignored, airbrushed because they were mishandled. This was mishandled. She's deemed the aggressor even now. They leave this little waif of a woman with about a 6 foot, 170-pound man, and they say she's the aggressor. And even today, they are denying what really happened. For Pete's sake, man, they just got a 911 call that Brian Laundrie was striking her in the face and beating her in the open, in broad daylight. The classic symptoms of her being a battered woman were all there. But yet they named her the aggressor, and today they want to tell me that nothing would have made a difference? That is complete BS, a technical legal term. If they had separated them and told Gabby, counseled her about her options, it may have saved her life.
Right. No, I completely agree. But according to their recommendations, we should have arrested her. They did not connect all the dots. And now going forward, what they're saying, Nancy, is.
Well, that's what I said, too, back then when we were first watching this whole thing happen and like things were coming out and we were watching the body cam. And I was like, from their perspective, what the heck just happened? And we can definitely not see that. Did you guys see that? ADD. Did you guys see that yesterday? That whole motorcycle thing? Please, no. Oh my God. What are you? The computer's trying to get me canceled. What is going on here? Okay. All right. Let's try that again. But what I was saying was that yeah, she should have been arrested. If they believed that he was the aggressor, let's just say that's what it was. If they believed that, they should have at least arrested her or something. I'm not saying that she is, but I'm saying in their perspective, they, letting them go, that shouldn't have happened. Well, I think she was supposed to appear in court or something, like a online thing.
Homicides. This was mishandled. She's deemed the aggressor even now. They leave this little waif of a woman with about a 6 foot, 170-pound man, and they say she's the aggressor. And even today, they are denying what really happened. For Pete's sake, man, they just got a 911 call that Brian Laundrie was striking her in the face and beating her in the open, in broad daylight. The classic symptoms of her being a battered woman were all there. But yet they named her the aggressor, and today they want to tell me that nothing would have made a difference? That is complete BS, a technical legal term. If they had separated them and told Gabby, counseled her about her options, it may have saved her life.
Right. No, I completely agree. But according to their recommendations, we should have arrested her. They did not connect all the dots. And now going forward, what they're saying, Nancy, is the officers should have received more domestic violence training, more legal training, should have known the policy better, and had know how to work the software so they don't lose the evidence, which obviously another problem.
Work the software.
Yeah, apparently.
That's what they've got to say. I've got this many notes about what they did wrong. And look, they may have been well-intentioned, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and Gabby is dead. And they had it right here and let it slip through their fingers. They let them leave the next day, which they did, and he throttled her dead and left her body to decompose. And they had him. They had him in their grip and let it all disappear. So they can make themselves feel better with their report that a neighboring jurisdiction did and putting the officers on probation. That means nothing to me. They failed. And she's dead.
Right. And just the fact, Nancy, that they did, the guy who called 911 and said, hey, I saw this going on. It seems like police work 101, that's the first person you talk to after them.
The very first. And just think about it. If he would beat her in the face, basically on Main Street in broad daylight outside of the Sunflower restaurant, the co-op, what would he do with her out alone in dispersed camping? He would kill her, which he did. And anyone trained in domestic violence knows that they've got to separate them and give the woman counseling, explain to her she doesn't have to live with this, that her life is actually in danger. That never happened.
And unfortunately, just a couple of days later, she went missing and was presumed murdered at that point, and now it's just been a disaster. Nancy, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday morning. I know.
Thank you, and I wish I had better news for you. But the good part is that you're putting it out there for other women to hear, and maybe just one of them will hear this and escape.
Great message.
All right. So that's Nancy. I've said it a long time ago, too. I don't know that it's just really hard to say that this, had the cops arrested somebody, it would have saved their lives. Like, you just don't know. And clearly they were having issues throughout the trip and relationship the entire time. Multiple incidences, like the at that restaurant. I forget the name of the place, Mary something. I don't know that it would have changed the outcome, but yeah, I think that they should have been arrested. But it seems like they were trying. What's up, Lindsay? How you doing? It seems like they were trying to do the right thing, but I've seen situations, and I know a lot of people that didn't get that kind of treatment or whatever. But let's see here. Oh, I thought we could check this out too. This is from I think this was last night. I didn't watch it. I try to watch things together with you guys, but I think we could kind of recap and watch this a little bit. About 20 minutes long. This is News Nation. And then we can take a look at the Kylan and the other thing real quick, the statement that was released. And while we listen to this, I'll do a little brief kind of search and see. I this entire time I've been hearing, things here and there with the story, but I've just kind of waited because I've been covering all these other people, and I was like, let me just wait till something like really comes along. Take a look here. Yeah, the thing that everybody, from what I see, all the news articles are now they're talking about that what was in the FBI statement with Brian Laundrie, or what Brian Enton said. Brian Laundrie claimed responsibility in the notebook.
In the reserve, but there was still things inside that were legible. So hopefully that'll be part of what. Well, we know that this was a secret meeting. The FBI right now not commenting on exactly what happened, but it was a long time, 8.5 hours. And it appears, Ashley, tonight that this investigation that has been going on behind the scenes by the FBI is finally starting to wind down. We believe today that the Petitos were briefed on the investigation, all of the details that we haven't been able to uncover yet, that we know that the agents have been looking into. And that this report.
Yeah. It's not a question whether. Yeah, definitely. Nikki says it's confirmed by the FBI that Brian killed Gabby. Yeah, it's not a question. I'm sure maybe there's people out there that are still thinking he's alive or like that he didn't do it or whatever. That they say he did it and that he killed himself. There's people I'm sure that think he's out there running somewhere or Mexico, Canada, whatever. How crazy was that, man? I don't know if there'll ever be another time like that. I just remember all these sightings of all these people and innocent people being like stalked and chased. I remember he might be watching. I don't want to, but I remember the guy on the channel, supporter, a cool guy. You think he's here in Fort Lauderdale. He thought he saw Brian or something, so he pulls up behind his car. He starts videoing it. I think it's still on his channel. And then he starts following the person through traffic, and the person starts freaking out. And so like they start swerving or whatever, and they lost him. It was a crazy, crazy ass time, man.
Could be made public very, very soon. Another thing that likely happened today and why it took so long with them at the FBI headquarters in Tampa is, you remember the boxes and boxes of evidence that were taken from the Laundrie's home. Much of that stuff belonged to Gabby Petito. We know that Gabby's family wanted those items back, and it is very possible they were going through those items. Obviously, a very emotional process at the FBI office today.
I can't even imagine what that would be like, being reunited with the only thing left of your daughter. And I assume if that's what the Laundries were doing, they were probably pretty emotional too, because they lost, Brian and all of this. So a question for you. We talked a lot about a storage locker. I remember that was one of the reasons Brian had said he was coming home from the trip that he and Gabby were taking, that he needed to get some things or move some things from a storage locker. Are these some of the things that we're probably talking about as well?
Yeah, likely items from the storage locker. The van is still in FBI custody in Tampa. And then again, all of those items from the garage that we saw them take away from the Laundrie house. We were able to get the Laundrie family attorney, Stephen Bertolino, today to confirm that after, quite a bit of negotiation, he did come to an agreement with the Petito family attorney about sort of who would get what. He wouldn't go into specifics, but he said the notebook, that infamous notebook that was found, has also been part of these ongoing negotiations.
Boy, I sure hope they'll release the contents. All right, so there are, obviously so many unanswered questions still. Hopefully the FBI will tell us some answers soon. But in the meantime, we narrowed it down to the top 10 unanswered questions that the public really deserves to know. Number one, why was Brian never labeled a suspect or arrested?
Yeah, that's a good point. He was never labeled a suspect. And the other interesting thing is people don't always realize this, but the FBI has never formally said that Brian Laundrie killed Gabby Petito. That's one of the reasons that we're so anxious for this final report to come out.
So that leads me to my second question. What happened to Gabby exactly, and what did Brian do right after?
Well, you know, I hate to go back and think about this because it was so sad, but we know that Gabby was strangled and killed in Wyoming. Brian drove her van.
Have you guys seen this in the chat? I'm gonna keep it playing, but maybe we could do calls for a little bit if anybody wants to call. I'm gonna let this ride, but maybe got like 20 minutes of calls I could do. If anybody wanted to call and just comment on either the report or the FBI findings.
And back to Florida. But again, so many of the details that we know the FBI likely uncovered, we still don't know.
Lots of gaps. Okay. Why didn't the Laundries ever return Petito texts and phone calls?
Another very good question. We never got a good answer to that. The Laundries really still haven't spoken out at all publicly since all of this began. The only person who sort of communicates with the media still is their attorney.
Okay, this one might hold the answers to a lot of the questions above and below. What is in the notebook?
That's the $1 million question. That's what we're all waiting to.
And we just kind of covered that. So, you know, supposedly him admitting to killing her. We don't know what else.
Find out, did the Petitos perhaps get to see inside that notebook today? It's possible. We know that it was wet when they found it in the reserve, but there was still things inside that were legible. So hopefully that'll be part of what we find out from the FBI.
Okay, and will anyone ever be charged, Laundries or otherwise?
It's possible. I mean, that's been a big question. And it was interesting, Ashley, you might remember one of the more recent statements that Gabby's family put out through their attorney actually alluded to the fact that it was possible that there could still be more charges. We still don't know.
So let me call in real quick. I'm going to do the call in line. Man, I can probably do 20 minutes.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line.
Mute it real quick. Welcome, host.
Okay. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
Okay. So the number, the mods can put it in. I don't even know my own number for this thing. It's 954-787-3009. 954-787-3009. And it's going to be limited, like maybe 2-3 minutes if anybody calls. If not, we just keep it pushing. So I think two people messaged me that they wanted to call. But I'll keep playing this. This stuff here that we're watching is, I don't think there's anything like new, unless I didn't watch the whole thing, but especially after we see the FBI thing, I don't think there's anything.
Okay, why are the Laundries continuing to remain silent?
Listen, you might have a better take on this than me, Ashley, but they're not talking at all. I mean, their attorney is very open to text messages with the media and sort of keeping us in the loop with information that he wants to share, but they haven't budged at all. I mean, they haven't said one word.
Well, I would say if there's open possibilities of federal charges, you don't want to go up against the feds. I'd stay silent, too. All right. How did the massive search teams miss Brian's remains and belongings that were just off the path?
I mean, I think we've all stayed up at night thinking about this one over the last several months.
He was planted.
Very strange the way all of that went down after the massive search, that it was then the Laundries who discovered the belongings and the remains. So I think that one we might never know the answer to.
All right, let me take this call. We got one call here. Oh, and by the way, with regards to the church story, if you guys saw that yesterday, with it, allegedly some pastor was locking these people against their will, but he's denying the claims. Somebody reached out to me today on Facebook. I can't say who, but they said that they're looking into it. I'll just say that. And I don't want to say what or whatever, because I don't want to tip off the church people. I don't want to tip off the group. But so hopefully if they find some stuff, we'll do a direct video for that. Let me take this call here. 305. How you doing? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Mel. How are you?
Good. Who's this?
This
your
is
ex?
Alana from Miami.
Oh, Alana, hey. What's up, Alana? Welcome.
How are you
Thanks
doing?
for calling.
How are you doing?
Good.
I love your show, by the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you. What are your thoughts? What's going on?
Bro.
What's on your mind with all this stuff with the FBI release?
I'm here doing my makeup, getting ready to go out, and just thinking about it. I mean, I'm glad that they're coming out with something, but honestly, you know, when the Laundrie's got that lawyer, it's like, what can we possibly expect to hear, you know?
Right. I don't think they're gonna be saying anything.
Like, it's gonna be a long road until we hear anything. But man, yeah, those are my thoughts, and it's like, you know, we all want to know.
Yeah, I think the last thing for me is kind of we might never know. I'm kind of curious what's in the book. What else did he say? Maybe what his thoughts were, but I don't know that we'll ever get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we'll get, but I definitely think he was, you know, scribbling in there. Who knows what he said? Maybe partially blaming her for what he did, or maybe confessing, but I just don't feel like we're going to hear it anytime soon.
Right. Okay.
But that's just a feeling, so.
Well, thanks, Alana. Appreciate you calling.
All right. Thank you for picking up my call. Have a beautiful
sure.
evening,
Keep watching.
Okay?
Thank you. You too. Be safe. Have fun.
Okay. Take care.
All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. That's Miami. I don't have anybody else. I'll keep playing the video. Rebel Eric said, don't forget about the dog in that creepy video. What dog? Is there a dog? Man, yo, everybody was going nuts. And when they were caught on the drone, I think that was Nerdy's drone. When they were caught on the drone, they looked up.
Why did they go camping at such a bizarre time, just 6 days after Brian's return?
Again, and what did they talk about when they were on this camping trip? Did it come up? Where is your fiance, Gabby Petito? We still don't know. The Laundrie parents obviously would be able to answer that question. They haven't spoken, and sister Cassie also hasn't spoken since that initial interview.
So I'm going to skip over question 9 because it's what did Laundrie tell his parents, and that answers it right there. We still don't know what they even talked about on that camping trip. So number 10, and maybe the most important one, was any motive ever uncovered?
No, and I think that is why this notebook is so crucial and why we all want to know what is inside the notebook. And perhaps the Petito family finally has some of the answers that they've been looking for tonight after that long meeting with the FBI.
My theory has always been, like, they were arguing and fighting like they apparently do a lot. It's not a frequent or an unusual occasion. And the guy snapped. I think he just finally snapped. He got to the boiling point. You know, I don't know what happened or what it was, but, you know, and she had some issues as well, you know, but obviously he took it to a whole nother level by killing her. Thank you. Wait, I feel like I missed something here. 1 second. Wobbles. There we go. Wobble66, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for always jumping on last minute to provide the latest news. Everyone, please support Mel's channel by clicking the like button. Please, por favor. Yeah, get the likes up. Please. The likes. Did anyone hear a gunshot when he ended his life? I don't know. He was out in the woods. I guess not.
All right, Brian Enton, who's been on the story since the beginning, thank you for doing this late hour reporting for us tonight. We appreciate it. Brian's going to continue to follow that story for us as well. So you've no doubt heard the expression police state. How about police town? That's how Brookside, Alabama is being described by people who live there and by people who just pass through there. The Brookside Police Department.
That's a different topic. Okay, and the last thing, which really I might just save this for, I kind of was going to save this for a separate video. Probably should, but it kind of, I think so many people have seen this already too. The Crystal Turner and Kylan Schulte press release by the sheriff's office. Let me just save it real quick and then I'll read it because on Twitter it's just super too small. There we go. First page. that one. Oh, it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing. Okay. I think it's just one page. I thought it was two of them, but anyway. Just touch on this briefly. I really was going to say this for a video. I had some weird, interesting stuff too. I mean, I don't know that I should say, but because for the people that have been watching the channel, you know that I've spoken to Kylan's father multiple times. There's the videos up on the channel. I had somebody reach out from this side of the family, and so that was kind of interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's kind of I don't know. I've heard things, so I just don't know what to do. But they wanted to talk too, so I might do it. I don't know. But anyway, it says here from the press release, January 19, 2022, Stephen White. On August 18, 2021, the bodies of Kylan and Crystal were discovered in the irrigation ditch west of their campsite in the South Mesa area of La Salle Mountains. Law enforcement were made aware of the discovery by an acquaintance of the victims who had been searching for them in the area where they were found. The Grand County Sheriff's Office immediately secured the site and spent the next several days processing the scene. GCSO searched the irrigation ditch both before and after draining the ditch by shutting off the water via control valve. Evidence collected from the scene include the victim's tent and personal belongings inside and outside the tent and their vehicle, blood shell casings, blood fragments, and video evidence from nearby properties. The GCSO has narrowed the victim's date of death to August 14, 2021, which I think off the top of my head, August 13 was the moonflower thing, right? No. Was it? Shit, I don't know. I may not say that. I have too many dates in my head. August 14. I'd have to pull it up, and that's a whole nother timeline thing, but maybe the chat will remember. The state medical examiner immediately conducted a medical exam of both victims and determined the following. Both victims had been shot multiple times. The shell casings and bullet fragments found at the scene were consistent of or with evidence obtained from the bodies of the victims. And 3, there was no sign of forcible sexual assault, which is interesting because I was told that there was that. So I don't know. Did the person just shoot him and dip, I guess? In the course of this investigation, there has been considerable conjecture that Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were somehow involved in a double homicide. Upon investigation, the FBI and Florida investigators have determined, based on electronic transmission evidence, that neither Petito nor Laundrie were involved in this case. The FBI continues to assist the GCSO and so on and so forth. And the FBI, with their release today, just reiterates that as well. Like they're saying there's no connection, you know. And I think that's it. I gotta get out of here. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's it. Oh, there's calls. All right, let's take these 2 calls. No more calls. Let's take these calls. 954, how you doing? Where you calling from? Or no, 601. Sorry, 601. How you doing? Where you calling from?
You're 954. Hi, I'm calling.
What's up?
I'm calling from Mississippi. How are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
On Discord.
Who?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Wait,
You're doing a fine job.
Thank you.
I love your YouTube channel.
Who are you on Discord?
Look, I'm Skipper D.
Skipper D. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah. I don't know why. Well, it made me choose a different name because of my YouTube business. Anyway,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So, in talking about the couple on August the 14th, if you remember, they were at a bar, and Brian and Gabby were seen at the bar there also, and so
no.
Even though that was the night of the 13th, and they were, they were reported missing after the 13th. So I've always felt like they were, or that Brian was involved in their, involved in their death.
Are you talking about Woody's Tavern? When you say bar, Woody's Tavern?
Yeah, Woody's Tavern. Yeah.
They weren't seen at that bar.
Oh,
the bar? No, I've tried to clarify this so many times. I even did a video, but no. Oh. The bar, Woody's Tavern, they made a post on Facebook, the company themselves, and they said Brian and Gabby were never there at the bar.
Really? Well, I'm glad to hear that.
But it is a small town though. Like that town is pretty small. Like the bar and everything, it's all walking distance. Like, it seems like you could just walk everywhere if you wanted to. Mm-hmm.
Well, and two, it's just I don't believe in coincidence, and I just believe the timeline just lines up with and with him admitting that he killed Gabby in the FBI report or in the notebook that was discussed in the FBI report. Oh,
so
are you?
I'm listening. No, you're good. I'm listening. I hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, but anyway,
let me ask you. Do you feel he had something to do with it still? Because there's a lot of people that still feel like that. So I'm curious.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I'm disappointed that the timeline that the FBI released. We had internet sleuths that did better on a timeline.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the things that they disclosed in the FBI report are things that we all have already known to be true. And let me ask you this. Was it not corrected by Bertolino that the date of Brian going missing was changed to the 13th?
The date was changed. I don't remember the date, but the date was wrong. I did a video on that too. We did a live stream. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but yeah, it was wrong for sure. So that changed everything. Yeah. So he was like already gone when the cops were watching him. Or like when they started to watch him, I think he was already gone or something. I think, or they mistook him. They mistook his mother for him. They thought he was there, but apparently he was already gone. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I just knew that the date by Bertolino was like, because when things got out, it seemed like he always backtracked to try to correct things. And that's why I just remembered that it was the 13th that they supposedly reported it. But the FBI report does not show that correction. So that was weird to me. And, the notebook. I think they need to release the notebook. I think we need to know what exactly was said.
I do too. I might try to find it. I did a video. I don't know if it was a video live stream. I had a whole thing explaining that date. I just don't have it in off the top of my head as far as when he went missing and that because even Brian Enton broke it down because he showed when the car was there and when it wasn't there, the Mustang. There was a whole thing on that, but it was already confirmed. Like, yeah, the dates were wrong. That I think was given out. Mm.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have. You're just doing a great job, and I love you. And
thank you. I love you too. Appreciate that.
Aaron.
Aaron's good too. He's a good guy. Yeah, we still got to meet up. I'm waiting on my coffee, Aaron. If you're out there somewhere. Yeah, he's a good guy. He took off, man. He's a natural. He's good at what he does. Yep.
Yeah. He does great too, and I appreciate you bringing him on because that's how I learned of him, of course.
Yeah, it was that whole situation was cool. Yeah, very organic. I thought that was dope. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling. All right. Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Great night. Bye.
That was a nice call. 903. How you doing? Where you calling from? Let's get the Fort DeSoto stuff. 903.
Oh, is it me now?
It's you. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Muy bien. That's not all the Spanish you're going to get.
That's cool.
You're welcome.
That's cool. Welcome, man.
Okay,
how you doing?
So I'm good. So here's what I have to say. I think that everybody doing these videos and finally bringing more knowledge about missing people has absolutely made a difference, that our country at least has been doing a better job to find more missing people. Well, at
so
least
too,
during that short term. Because, I mean, look at all the dead bodies behind, like, the Walmart and everywhere else that all of a sudden missing bodies were found. Or even in Florida, the amount of corruption, or in Houston, the amount of children that were finally getting taken care of, that more people had the ability, or they weren't so scared to actually go out and say, hey, we need to help or get help. So I think that was one thing that this did help. I think the notebook is probably full of crap. I think it's probably a bunch of his drawings and tattoos, but I think the Brian being mistaken for his mom was just BS, and we all know that's the truth. Like, come on. So, you're welcome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the call, and I agree. Yeah, thank you so much. I was trying to find this timeline thing because some people were asking about it. I broke it down a while back. I think we all kind of knew about it, but no, I can't find it. I had it somewhere. And the link that I used to have this timeline link on Facebook.
I thought if you want me to send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me, because when I went to go look now, the link that I used to have is taken down. So I was like, damn, that was a really good timeline I used to have. I should have saved it.
That one girl that Twitter, she still has it, and it's really good.
Okay, maybe I need to find it and do it. Yeah.
Like, there's some big stuff on there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the call.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. No, go ahead. Finish. What you're saying. It's okay.
So I was just saying, I'm like watching you on my screen, and I see like talking, but we're like Chinese talking.
Oh my God.
You know, like you know what I'm talking about? Like your voice is moving, but I don't hear anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I love
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye, bud.
Katrina, thank you for the super chat. Hola, gracias. I'm super late. Happy Friday, and thanks for the update. Happy Friday. We're gonna be on Discord tonight. This time I'll be awake. I'll be there tonight. Last call, yo. Last call. 718. How you doing? Where you calling from? See if I can find this video.
First of all, I wasn't
gonna call. Lord Jesus.
Lord. You know it's Momo.
Say a prayer for me,
Jesus. I wasn't gonna
Jesus.
call, but then when you was like, I'm not taking no more calls, don't call, I was like, you know I don't follow rules. So I called. Anyway, I don't have nothing to say on the subject. You know I'm past this. I just wanted to call to let you know you look like a goddamn snack. What's up with that? That shape up is looking good.
Well, thank you. No, the problem, I don't like this pimple thing. All right, and now that I have this high definition camera thing. Oh, come on, you've seen this thing. Everybody sees it. Like, look at this thing. This thing is huge, man. And then it's like side by side. You know what I'm saying? And the other one's like growing, and the other one's feeding off of its energy, and they're both like.
Well, pimple or not, honey, you look like a snack. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
That shape up is looking great.
It's kind of messy though. I don't know. Sorry, brother. Thank you.
Don't call. I miss you.
Miss you too. I hope you're doing well.
I miss harassing the chat.
Oh Jesus.
But you know I don't have nothing to say on the subject.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah, I guess we've spoken about this story so many times. Yeah, it's like I don't know how much more. Like, what else is there to say? You know, it's like, and I'm not that kind of person that can sit 8 hours. Oh, let me not just say that shit. Never mind.
Right.
No.
Oh, okay. Nah, don't say it. But for real. I just feel like they're not. This is a story. This is like the never-ending story. It's gonna keep on. They're gonna keep finding things. There is still gonna be people out there who, you know, are looking for anything and hoping for anything. The story ended when they were both found deceased.
They're all saying that
you know? But like
they didn't notice the pimples until I said it. Yeah, go ahead. So, ADD, you know I'm all over the place.
Exactly, I didn't notice it. But I would say one thing. Like the other caller said, it has brought a different light to a lot of people missing in America. You understand? Like I'm so proud of, you know, how everybody is taking the initiative to find people, to, you know, to share the photos, to, you know, share the links, make comments, have discussions about these people who are missing, because there's someone's loved one, you know? Right. It's a story to us, but it's someone's loved one. So that is a good thing that came out of this tragedy, you know? But,
yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
All right, Momo, we'll talk. I'll hit you up after.
Yes.
All right. Bye. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
That was Momo. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Nice call. I totally agree too. I think that the Gabby thing has changed a lot of stuff. A lot of people are like covering this missing persons. I mean, bodies were literally found. Missing people were literally found. We got the Gabby Petito Foundation. Their parents are really involved. Like I see them on Twitter, and like, you know, sometimes they'll tweet out a missing person, and they, you know, things kind of move fast. And so it's made a big change for everybody, including myself. I have this. I don't want to take too much time because I got to roll, but this is the Mustang thing. I think I covered it in this live stream that Brian purchased a phone at the AT&T store on support. Real quick. This is from WFLA. probably say at the same. This is the TMZ thing, supposedly September 14th with an older woman. So I don't know if they went back.
On Brian's car in the parents' move. And this afternoon, the Laundrie family attorney shared more details of Brian's parents' movements with us, saying they discovered a note on Brian's car in the preserve when they initially went to look for him on Wednesday. Then they left the car so he could drive back. When Brian did not come home Thursday morning, the parents say they went to retrieve his car. Many more questions than answers tonight, and we will have continuing coverage of.
Wanted to show you that. So here, September 20th is when the Mustang is taken away. And then also Brian Enton's video corroborates this. It says a lot of people are asking about the Mustang in Brian Laundrie's driveway. Police took something out of it Friday. We got into town Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday. Come on, get it together. Tuesday was the 14th, I believe. The 14th, again, is when all this stuff happens. The supposed last day they see Brian, that he went to the Carlton Reserve, leaves the phone behind. And Tuesday, this is what it looked like. That lady had a great question last night. I think we just kind of lost each other, missed each other. And so I spoke to a couple of people, and I figured let's look into it together. So Brian says, Enton says they got up there 7 p.m. Tuesday. By that time, the Mustang was already gone. And check out what the background looks like. Notice the outside doesn't look anything like what it looks like today, right? Streets are empty. And so I'm thinking the media wasn't even there when Brian left. So, I mean, I don't want to go through this whole thing. I'll put the link down. But like I did kind of talk about this weird stuff with the timeline of the Mustang. I mean, in my head to go back now after there's just been so many things. Every single day I'm doing different stories. But I'll link it. But yeah, and this has been extensively covered already. It's not anything that's like new. But you know, yeah, they gave the wrong. I guess they gave the wrong date, or he had left earlier than they thought, or whatever. And I think he was already gone before the media got out there. That's why, because I remember that night with that previous stream, there was a lady questioning, well, if he left, how did nobody with all the media out there not catch this guy leaving? Because they weren't out there. You know, so that's what happened. I posted the Brian Enton video and the Gabby Petito. Oh, okay, let me check. And by the way, shout out to Discord, man. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much because they help out a lot with the links. Brian Enton is live. Oh, that was earlier. Guess I missed that, huh? Okay, I see. Everybody's going live now. It was a 5-minute video. Let's check out what Brian had to say, and then we get out. Then we go. What did Brian Enton have to say?
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to get on here real quick with this breaking news involving the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie investigation. Sorry, I'm in my car. Like I'm driving in between stories when all this broke. I mean, we knew this was coming really as of yesterday. We got tipped off that the FBI was going to release their final statement. And
no, remember the parents lied and said Tuesday 14th, but waited till Friday, right? The 17th, but he really left Monday. Okay, right. When they got out there, Brian was already gone.
And final report to the media today in regards to the investigation. And that's literally what just happened within the last hour. I'm just going to read you the statement, which we have all of this on newsnationnow.com if you want to look at it again, but I'm just going to read you the final statement here from the FBI. All logical investigative steps have been concluded in this case. The investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito. The FBI's primary focus throughout the investigation was to bring justice to Gabby and her family. The public's role.
Man, I think this is all stuff we just already read.
Helping us
or watched.
in this endeavor was invaluable as the investigation was covered in the media and around the world. And then basically the FBI just shared their condolences with the Petito family. So really the new piece of information here is the FBI has officially connected Brian Laundrie to Gabby Petito's death. While we all sort of surmised that was the case for quite some time, now the FBI has actually put it in writing saying the investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the death of Gabby Petito. So now we've got that officially from the FBI. There were a few other interesting nuggets in there. And again, all of this is on our website, newsnationnow.com. Just pulling this up here. So there was something else interesting deeper in the FBI's final report for the media. They had this timeline, and they said that the FBI did a review of the notebook. You'll remember there was that notebook that was found near Brian Laundrie's body in the Carlton Reserve. So they did a review of the notebook and found written statements by Brian Laundrie claiming responsibility for Gabby Petito's death. So that is new. We knew through sources for a while, and we reported this, that there was stuff in the notebook that was legible and that the FBI was able to make it out despite the notebook being wet in the swamp there. And now we know that it was actually notes from Brian Laundrie claiming responsibility for Gabby Petito's death. So it appears, based on the full FBI investigation, that it is now crystal clear that Brian Laundrie killed Gabby Petito. So not a big surprise for us who have been following this closely, but again, it's a pretty big deal to have the FBI, putting out this final report and sort of bringing this to conclusion. The number one question I've been getting over the last half an hour is, what does this mean for the Laundrie parents? A lot of people were wondering whether or not they would be charged, and we don't know exactly, but this appears to be the end. I mean, I think that's it. The FBI called this their final statement. So it appears that Chris and Roberta Laundrie will not be facing any charges. But they don't actually say that, but it appears the investigation is totally done. Let me read you also a statement from Gabby Petito's attorney. Put out a statement on behalf of her family, and you'll remember they were at the FBI in Tampa yesterday.
Well, at least people say no with that. I mean, there's still a percentage of people that think Brian's alive. There's no way. I mean, I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm not saying you're crazy if you think he is. I just couldn't, I can't have that kind of thinking, yo. It's kind of nutty. Yeah. I don't think he's dead.
Were briefed on all of this yesterday ahead of time, and today their attorney put out this statement. Gabby's family would like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation, specifically the Wyoming, Denver, New York, and Tampa offices, all of their task force members and their assisting agencies. Gabby's family would like to thank the FBI's Victim Services Department for all they have done for them. Victim Services has been there for support from the earliest stages of this investigation and helped their entire family navigate through the worst moment of their lives. We truly appreciate the FBI's diligent and painstaking efforts in this extremely complicated case. The quality and quantity of the facts and information collected by the FBI.
So yeah, we've heard all that stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna be out of here, man. I have to run, but we'll see what happens this weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. Many more good things to come in the future. All right, take care. Peace. Adios.